Hi, y'all. And Lent goes on. We are coming into the home stretch. We're in the last 2 weeks, and those of you that are Catholic probably know that all the artwork in the church has probably been covered with drapes. The statues have been sacked, as we say. There's big purple sacks over them. There's drapery over the artwork because we're making a complete focus on what is happening over these next 2 weeks. And if you've never been to the Easter Vigil Mass or Midnight Mass for Easter, sometimes they have it like started at 9 o'clock at night instead of at midnight these days. If you go to that, the church opens in complete darkness and everybody has a candle. And a fire is lit in the back of the church and the gospel is read. And then from that fire, the fire of everybody else's candle is lit. We pass one fire from one to another. The church is lit. And during the time of the Mass, we say the Gloria. All the covers come off because now it's a time of complete rejoicing and everything's bright and lit again. So that's coming up. But now, from here on out, everything's covered, everything's simple. There's no flowers on the altar. It's a complete focus on Jesus, who was God, became man, and not only was stripped of his garments, stripped of his life, but you can't keep a good man down, right? He gave everything for us. And so we focus on that in simplicity. And that's what's coming up this week. And that's really what the preparation of Lent is geared toward. That's the way we're walking. And all the things we do, all the little sacrifices, it's not like our sacrifices have any merit on their own. But we take whatever little bit we have, we hand it to Jesus, who is now walking with it on his path. And it's his sacrifice that gives ours its value, through him, with him, and in him. This Lent has become for me, I've become aware of a couple of things, and I've become aware of the value of those little sacrifices. I mentioned that vlog or two ago. I was thinking giving up something alternative for Lent instead of giving up a food or giving up, Now during Lent's a time where we focus on prayer, sacrifice, and almsgiving, or giving to the poor, giving to charity, and doing a little extra. One thing some families do is they do Operation Rice Bowl, which is where one meal, instead of the full meal they'd normally have with a family, they do a simple meal like a bowl of soup. And the money saved from that is put in this little bowl in the middle of the table. And that money is donated to people who are hungry, far hungrier than we are with all the food we have. So we sacrifice, we're a little bit hungry one night, and then that money goes to the poor, and that's one way of almsgiving. That's not an uncommon one. When I was growing up, we did that. And prayer, just some little thing to increase in prayer. And I have to be careful with myself because I can really go out of balance and take on too much. I have to really focus on a little way and do just something little extra in prayer. Now, my prayer model is Tevye from Fiddler on the Roof. That is the way I pray. I talk to God all the time, constantly. And to me, that's kind of the most valuable prayer outside of the Mass, that back and forth there. No, I don't hear voices, but those of you who pray know what I mean by back and forth. And experiencing the presence of God. Not always. Sometimes you don't experience him at all, even though he's there, but sometimes you do. And that's my main type of prayer. I do that all the time. I don't think there's much I can add to that. But just something a little different, a little extra, that helps me focus on the season. A little different, a little extra. And fasting. I was just too quick to say, I'm going to fast from... trying to think of something... Well, all right. I'll tell you what I was trying to fast from. I was trying to fast from overly critical remarks, especially to my husband. That didn't work really well. The advantage to that fast, though, and I think it was good, was it did check me because I can be a very, very critical person. So even though I was not very successful in the fast, it's not a contest, it's a prayer. It's something that really made me aware of the area, how I fall short in that. And also it made me aware that when I'm not so critical, things go a lot better. I'm not talking about genuine criticism that's needed for something big. I'm talking about, And y'all know how that is. Most of you do. If you don't, God bless you. But the little things, like instead of giving up something that's a food, I came to realize how important giving up something little like chocolate is. It might seem like a childish sacrifice, but it really focuses you on what's going on. It trains your will to say no to something that is good. It's a perfectly good thing that you might not need. So for 6 weeks, you say no to it. And there's always exceptions. You always make exceptions for the case of love. If somebody brought me a gift of chocolate, then by all means eat it. You don't say, no, I'm fasting, I can't have your chocolate. Love trumps everything else. But I'm talking about stopping at the CVS on the way home and getting a box of Reese cups or something. Actually, I'd be more likely to get Godiva. That's important. It's much more important than I realized for keeping you focused on the season. Next video, I'll talk a little bit more about the seasons and why some of us have them, and about kind of the physical nature of our faith. All right, bye-bye.